We're installing an Islander solar hot water station today, and we're putting it in this area here. One of two things. We either have removed the existing water heater, or this is a new install where the piping is up here. It's already installed, ready for the Islander. So all the roughing's done, hot and cold's ready, and to and from the solar panels are ready. So, you ready? We've moved the tank into position. The hot and cold line to the roof, to and from the roof, are already installed, and we've aligned the pipes ready for soldering on this. So this is the first thing we'll do. This is all ready to go. It's in position. So first we're going to solder these pipes. So I'll get it ready. Are you finished? We're flexing the copper pipes. Again, these are going to the roof and coming back from the roof, from the solar collector. That's all described in the SunSaver installation manual, which covers this system, which is a direct solar water system. It uses the existing potable water to run through the collectors. It's primarily for areas with no freeze, Pacific Islands, Caribbean, where there's no freezes. This is and the water's fairly good quality. So you flux the fittings. To install there we go. These were already pre-run, so now they're ready to solder. Using no lead solder for potable installations. Use propane or MAP. MAP's a little faster. You apply the heat to the upper part of the fitting, and you're soldering in vertical. Once it's hot enough, it just flows in. You don't need much. And then you can take a rag and drag it off. Starts melting at the top and should be hot enough to swing the torch down toward the middle of the coupling. And solder will basically wick its way into the fitting. And then you can let it cool. And then we're ready to hook up the water to the system at this time. We're going to hook up the hot and cold water from the house to the unit. So what we have here is next to the expansion tank, we have the cold water inlet here. Usually it's on the right. And then on the left we have, after the mixing valve, this whole assembly is the mixing valve, and this is the hot out to the house. So basically we have our cold in on the right and our hot out on the left. This is either new construction or it's part of removing an old water heater to put in a solar tank. So we'll grab our water connectors here. These are stainless steel connectors, and I'm going to connect it to the cold here. And you can either use a channel locks or a adjustable wrench. These have a gasket just snug. You want to make sure your fittings where you're connecting these water connectors to are smooth on the face here. Sometimes the machining, when they make these at the pipe factory, they're sharp and they will cut this rubber gasket and then you'll have a leak. So you have a fine file with you. Just make sure it's fine, that's smooth. This would be the cold one, so we'll move it over there. And those are now connected to the cold and the hot. This one will go here and this one will go here. Go ahead and cut. Okay, we've got our lines connected to our supply, our cold supply and hot to the house. Now we're going to hook up these water connectors to the respective ports. This is cold water in. I'm just snug it up. You don't have to go real tight, just snug. You can always tighten it if you didn't get it quite tight enough. These are gaskets. There. That's the cold. This is the hot line going back to the house right here, and it's mixed. So this is coming out of the solar tank. This mixing valve mixes the water. It gives you the temperature that's leaving the tank and going to your fixtures in the house. So tighten those. So we have our supplies connected. We have our supply and our hot water and cold, and then the solar hot and return. This is our wire from the roof for the controller. We'll do that in a minute. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pressurize and fill the tank and make sure we have no leaks. The tank comes to you as you see it. It has a manual, a whole bunch of paperwork that comes in a plastic bag with the tank. So please refer to that if you have any questions specifically on the system. So what we're going to do is we have the drain closed. Make sure that's closed. We're going to add water to this. These are closed to the roof right now. So we're just going to fill the tank. The way we do that We open the cold water line. That's the cold water line. You also want to open a couple of hot water faucets or a tub, the hot water side of the tub. That'll help you purge all the air out. So we're going to open that. That's cold, hot, and then since we don't have any fixtures here, we're going to open the safety valve to let the air out. And then, so this will take a couple minutes. Just like any water heater, we want to purge the air. So we're filling the tank. Once we get a little water come out of the safety valve, which is at the top, then we'll close it, and then you would go to your fixture in your house, all your hot water fixtures, and open it and purge all the air. So we're filling the tank. These are the isolation valves for the roof. This one's going to the roof, and this one's coming from the roof. I don't have it insulated yet because I want to make sure I think my joints are okay here, the solder joints, but we always check. All this comes pre-plumbed. The Islander comes pre-plumbed and tested. So the connections here you make with water connectors or however you feel comfortable with. And this has a piece of pipe on it that you just cut off, and you can either run 1/2 inch or 3/4. This is 3/4, depending on your pipe runs. That's in our Sun Saver manual. Most plumbing is okay with 1/2 inch copper, this size. As we fill the system, we have a pressure gauge on there, and I've just closed the safety valve because I want to develop a little pressure as we fill it. That gives you your city water pressure that's in the system. The other thing with the solar, as we're filling it, this is an expansion tank. It comes with the system. Before you even install this, there's a place on the side. It's a bicycle valve, a Schrader valve, and you should check that and with an air gauge, and it should be equal to your city water pressure. So most cities it's at 60. You put a pump on there and pressurize it to 60. Usually 50 to 60 is the most common. So if you're at 55 to 60, that's before you do all what we've done here. So that's just a quick deal, takes a couple minutes. Now you can see the pressure starting to go up, and I'm going to, you can also hear the air. That's the air we're purging out. That's coming out of this safety relief. Some jurisdictions, a couple things require this to be plumbed outside. Some, they want it within 6 to 18 inches off the floor if there's a drain. So that's a jurisdictional city, county issue. Some jurisdictions require earthquake straps around this. California, sometimes Hawaii, some areas require a couple straps to be bolted to the studs behind the wall. So again, our pressure's going up. And we're purging the air. And again, that you have, those are both you can see it going up again. That's fine. That's what we want. And I don't see any leaks. That's good. You'd hear them. Again, we're purging the air. As this fills up, it's pushing the air to the top here. These are closed, so it can't go this way. And the only place it connects it is at the safety valve or your fixture. So if you have your tub opened, your faucets, just a single handle is best, but you can hear it spitting out of there. There, now we got water. There you go. So that means the tank is full. And we don't have it. We'll take care of that. But that's the safety valve. That doesn't normally open unless there's a safety issue. So we've got a full tank. So now you can see we're at about, like I say, 55 pounds. That's normal. We have the tank filled now. The pressure's at 55. Now we're going to flush the collector, put water in the collector. So how we do that is this is the return line. So the water will go blue line will, and then back here. So what I do is we take the cap off. You hook up. You can hook a garden hose to this. This is fine. This is just so I can show you. You can hook this to a garden hose and put it down the drainer outside. And so now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this valve to allow water to go to the roof. So we'll open that. We don't have any leaks here. And the line is straight. Close that. And now the water's heading to the roof. And now this is closed. I'm going to open this valve. You can hear the air. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You can see the air coming out. Be careful, that could be hot, so make sure no kids are around it. So you can see the air coming out. I'm going to put it in the bucket. If you do it with buckets, make sure don't get it all over. This is our experiment room. But you have a couple of buckets. And you flush it until all the air is out. It might take, depending on how far the plumbing is, 1 to 3 minutes. That's one bucket. To the second one. Looks like we've got most of the air out. And now what I'll do is I'll open this valve here. That just purged that air in that line. And we're good. We'll close off that valve and let that drain. Now this is operational positions. These yellow valves, all the yellow valves on the system, taking our hose off, putting the cap back, safety cap back on. All the operational valves on the unit are vertical. This one, and this one. So we've got those. And then you've gone on the roof, use your solar array manual, and you should have no leaks up there. So that's part of the solar, not the sun saver manual. So all your plumbing's on the roof. Check for leaks, you're all good. You just flush the entire system that way. Some people flush it for, anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. It just cleans out any dirt or dust in the lines and purges the air. That's really what we're doing, purging the air. So now we'll go to the control part of it, so we'll stop. What we're going to do is pull the cover off. You just remove the screw or loosen it, pull the solar control cover off. All the wires for the tank, there's 2 out of the 3 are wired. The third one is from the roof, right here. And the directions on how to use the terminal on the back of the control here, on the cover, shows you how to use a small screwdriver to open these terminals and then put the wire in there. So this terminal block here is for here. You have the root collector sensor, storage sensor, which is wired for you, and tank sensor, which is wired for you. So the one we're going to do is the collector sensor. So you've run the wire, and now what I want to do, just kind of so you see the functionality of this control, I'm going to plug it in. So this plugs into a standard outlet. You may have to use a ground fault. Follow all the codes that are required in your jurisdiction. I'm going to just plug. It's 110. I'm going to plug it in. And you can see the display light up. It's in the off position. And when it's in off or on, it will always stay in those positions. Those are service positions only. They're not operational. Operational position is in the middle. It says auto, A-U-T, and then auto disappears. Now what's happening here, we have a fault showing because the wire's not hooked up. So that's what I wanted to show here. So that fault that you see there, maybe the guy didn't install a sensor on the roof yet, so that's why you see that fault. It's the most common fault. It's a break in the wire. Either the wire nut's disconnected or it's not been hooked up yet. So now we're going to hook up the roof sensor. So what we do is put the screwdriver in the little terminal lever. Make sure your wire's ready to go. You push it and push the wire. Oh boy. Wire in and let it go, and then that's in. You want to twist these really tight. So then we do the next one. So the roof wire goes to the first two terminals. Doesn't matter which way they go. There, that one's in. So I'm going to see, now you get a reading, and that's the roof right now. So you can see our error is gone. It's reading 78. We've got cloudy weather here today. It's going up. To scroll through on the control, this is all in the manual, in both the information you get in the packet and our our Sun Saver manual covers the entire system. It's the most basic system design for non-freezing areas. It's called the direct system. So coming back to the control, if we want to scroll through before we put the cover on, you push the down arrow. That's the top of the tank is 70 because we just filled it with water. And the bottom of the tank is 67, 68 because we just filled it with water, so it's all cold. And the roof is warmer, so it's starting to heat up. So once we have the wire in, and there is an actual, there's a strain relief here. You put the wire in. That's a strain relief to keep the wires from accidentally being pulled out of the terminal. So this is just a screw, 2 screws into the controller, and that compresses onto the wire and holds the wire in place. So that's the terminals. We're still reading up there, so we haven't cut the wire. Put the controller on, it kind of clips up on top, shouldn't move. And then just put the screw back in. There, not tight, just snug. So then you can push the buttons. You just scroll down, use the bottom arrow. All the other directions for the controller come in the packet that you receive, and there's a specific manual for this controller, but the general operation is once you hook this up, once this is plugged in, once you've tested all the for leaks, this is ready to heat. As soon as the sun, which is at the top, the collector, as soon as that heats up, it will turn the pump on, and can't see it here, but I'm going to kind of fake it. It'll show like that. The diagram will be turning. So that's in the on position, which is the service position. We don't normally do that. That's not where we leave it. But that's what it'll look like. And then we turn it back to auxiliary. It's just still not warm enough on the roof. Not warm enough. Yeah, this is on the controller again in the manual. This is the mode buttons. On is up, all the way down is off, and in the middle is where you leave it, automatic. So after you've tested it, it's running now. You can see it's 88 degrees to 89 on the roof. There, it's in automatic, and that's the screenshot you would see. Oh, that's not right. Check for leaks, you insulate all the pipes. You have this blue, this is going up, so this is the insulation. You put on all the pipes, cover them all up so you keep the heat in. That's going up, and this is the red one coming down. So there. Then everything is insulated if there's little places you can add insulation, but this is essentially, you have it insulated, it's running, it's heating. Solar array, the Sun Saver heats the water in two ways. One is the solar, and that's what you want it to do almost all the time. And then when it's cloudy, there's an element in here, and that's all explained in the packet that you receive. It's explained in this packet of information. It would be what's called the use and care manual, do not lose this. It says use and care. That covers the water heater, the tank, it covers the element and the thermostat, and that's behind here. And so the last thing you would do once you get this all working, functioning, with the solar, water is no leaks, everything works. Then what you would do is hook up to this position here, you'd hook up to 240 volt power. And that energizes the element. That's an electrician's job or a solar technician's job, whatever the code requires. So some new construction, the electrician will do it. And retrofit like your house, the solar guy generally if the line's there from the previous water heater, he'll just rehook it up. Talk about the element a little bit and thermostat. This cover, you turn the power off at the 240 volt breaker when you get into this. It's in the manual to do that. So all the power is off. Then you have to pull the wire. This is the thermostat in the water heater. The element's behind this cover. The temperature for the element is set all the way cold. So if you want, read the manual, follow the instructions, or have your plumber, you can turn it. Don't go much more than 140, and that's primarily in the winter. You can set it that high just to give you a little more hot water, but generally it's just below 140. And it comes, like I say, it's all the way cold. So if you just get a system in the winter, if you don't have enough hot water, then you may have to turn this up. The second thing that the issues we have is that in the summer this tank can get really hot, and this is a little, right here is a reset button, and it's tripped or popped. So what you would have to do, again, follow the manual, turn off the power, and you push that button in and it'll usually click, and then that will restore the power to the element, which is below this cover. You don't want to really, no need to remove this, and then the element will heat the tank again. It takes about 45 minutes to heat up this amount of water. Again, it's heating from here to here. So that's the electric element. It usually, again, I put the insulation back, put the cover back on, and then go turn the power back on at the breaker once this is all done. You don't want to, if you don't, call an installer or electrician if you have any concerns with that. Sometimes this power, before it comes in here, it might come into a time clock, or what's called a little gray box, a timer. So you can basically have the timer turn the power off during the day and let the solar do the work, because the electricity costs about 40 cents a kilowatt hour, very costly. And then in the evening it can come back on if the weather's been not fully sun, and heat this part of the tank up for you. And then it'll turn off all night It'll come back on in the morning for an hour, and then, so you have hot water in the morning, then it would turn off all day and let the sun do it. It also has on those time clocks, it has an override switch, so you can, if you come home in the middle of the day and there's, you know, you look at this and there's no hot water in the tank at either these two positions that are in the tank, then you can override the time clock, turn the element on and wait to get hot water. So that's, either way, you'll have hot water providing. There's power to the element, and all this, the thermostat and the element are operating properly. So again, that's all in the use and care manual. Part of that, it comes with the package, and then the Sun Saver manual deals with the entire system. Up on the roof, piping, racking, it covers quite a bit of information. This is available on our website. So it doesn't come with the system because the system may not be quite the same. The design is the same, but the manual is, you know, you can download it. It covers the basic operation. It does cover flushing. It does mention a couple of things about the element and the thermostat and some maintenance that, like flushing out of the drain here. Just hook a hose up to it, open the water for a minute or two, and done. You don't have to do anything else. Just flush it. You're just flushing any little grit that's down there. And then that's all covered in these manuals that you'll get. Again, this, coming back to this little pressure gauge, that's the system, that's your water pressure in your house. That's what that's telling you. So if it's really high, let's say it's reading way up here at 120, then you've got a regulator problem. That's a plumber's issue. You call them, get a plumber out. Your pressure regulator into the house is you're letting too much water pressure in. So generally you need a new regulator. If it's really low, then if you might have catchment or some kind of catching water like rain catchment, and your booster pump may not be high enough. So you may have to set your booster pump a little higher. We usually like to see above 30 psi on your water to make everything work properly. Ideally, yeah, 30 or above. 30 to 65. That's the good range, 30 to 65. If it's here, if there's something wrong. If it's too high, call plumber. Too low, call plumber. Or your solar and install it. They should catch that right away when it's installed. Any questions, you can refer to the manuals. You can go on our website, SunEarthInc.com, and we have more information there, or you can talk to your installer first if you have any questions, and then if you need to, you can always email or call us at SunEarth Incorporated. Thank you.